what's up everyone? This is Erin A Simon, and you're watching Launching Point. We have two amazing special guests joining us. We have BDE, aka Brandon, and then we have RayNDay, aka Evan. This is a question I always ask every single guest. What is your launching point?
Gaming was something I dreamed of being in, but never knew how I could do it. And I kind of dabbled in a few things, and I was playing this game called Smite, and I was like, man, I love this game, and I was like looking at it, and I would see them do these esports programs, and I was like, this is awesome, I want to be involved in this, but how can I just become an esports broadcaster, right? I kept running this problem, like, who's gonna let me do this? And then I started looking up a YouTube video to get better at a character, and I saw this guy getting, I think 100,000 views, and he had no personality. He had nothing. It was like listening to a wet noodle explain, and he didn't even explain the abilities. I'm like, dude, I'm reading the ability. I can explain it better than you. And I thought, maybe I should try this. And so I started doing videos on Smite, and long story short, a lot of grind, a lot of fun, a lot of streams to 7 people in my parents' living room when they were out at dinner. I ended up kind of getting around 50,000 subscribers, and I got an email from that company, and they said, hey, listen, we just lost 2 casters. You kind of have a good voice and all this. Would you like to try out and cast this game? So I did well. They asked me to do another one, I did well. The next week they said, listen, we want to fly you out to Georgia to our game studio to just take a tour. And they offered me a job on the spot. I was like, this is my shot. So I upped and moved to Georgia, and I literally just kind of learned the craft and just went through so many reps that eventually, when Apex came out and my YouTube channel kept growing, I was able to go freelance and do that. But that was that launching point that I kind of grinded to. It still feels magical to talk about it.
I love superhero movies, and I love movies in general, but my favorite superhero of all time is Spider-Man, Peter Parker.
Hey.
So he just had that camera, and I was so fascinated by what he did when he wasn't being a superhero. So I feel like my love of cameras and being on camera was from that. So when I was, fast forward a couple years later, my mom, I was telling you earlier, my mom and I filmed like this little home video.
We're making a movie of Brandon trying to move his nose like this. Okay, Brandon, go ahead. Mom!
After we filmed that, my mom just goes, actually, as a matter of fact, you can have this camcorder, because like I think she got a different camera or something. So she was like, you can have it. I said, okay, sweet, thank you. I appreciated that so much. So after that, I would just do like home movies. I would pretend like I was Spider-Man, do whatever I gotta do. So when I wanted to do YouTube, I was already watching it, because we didn't really have cable. We were not like the wealthiest family. So my option was either watch the news or watch free gaming videos. So I would always watch the gaming videos. I'm like, wow, these people are making a living from just playing video games. Specifically, I was watching Call of Duty. So I started my channel on Call of Duty, Minecraft, and all of that. The constant that was in my life was professional wrestling, always. I watched it every week. I didn't miss a week. I think the only time I missed a week was in 2019. I went from like, yes, I went from 2008 to 2019 not missing a week of pro wrestling. I watched it all the time. So I was like, I feel like this is the only thing I can speak passionately about. I don't have to think about it. It'll just come out naturally. So over time, I was like, okay, these Minecraft videos, these Call of Duty videos are just not doing well. They're not getting views. My first WWE video I posted, it got way more views than all the rest of the stuff I did. I said, wow, okay, I know what to do now. I got some money to go to college, so my mom didn't have to pay for it. And I was just like, college is not it for me at all. I was not enjoying it. So I had a conversation with my mom. I said, Mom, I'm gonna ask you a big question here, but can I drop out? And she was like, huh? And so she was like, hold on now. She was basically like, what is your plan? What do you mean? And I'm like, I wanna do YouTube for a year. I was like, let's make a deal. If this does not work out in a year, I will go back to college, no questions asked. Like, if it don't work out, I'm going back, period. And she took a second to think about it, and she was like, okay, well, you graduated early, treat this as your gap year. So if you can make it work in a year, You don't have to go back. And I think in about 3 or 4 months, we were able to make it work. I got my first paycheck. I blew that paycheck on a computer because I really needed a new computer.
Smart.
If I wanted to do this,
investment.
if I wanted to do it full time, I needed a better computer. So my mom wasn't even mad about it. She was like, hey, I get it. So after that, I started saving my money. She saw how responsible I was being with this opportunity, and she just never asked. So it was, ever since then, this is how we got here.
What is one actionable tip that you would like the viewers to take away from today's episode?
One thing that is a prerequisite to any tip is you really have to want it. You really have to have something inside of you that wants it, not just for the flashy results of it, but just for wanting it, because then you could really put in the work. I honestly think that when you find more of what you are as a creator, that's where your success is. A lot of people look at the game and they follow the game and the trends. The real success is being able to make a video about a game that's 3 years old and have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people watch every episode. I always tell people, understand who you are and keep that process going. So keep making stuff, but try to find out that core of who you are and what makes you tick on camera that people relate to, and then do more of it.
I've always heard when I was starting my channel, be consistent, but over time I learned that consistency is nice so people know you're not going anywhere, but I think the real tip is to be passionate about what your content, or like what your content is, because while I was making content that I was passionate about in Call of Duty and Minecraft, I just love those games, but I wouldn't necessarily say that I was passionate about it. But I'll tell you, I was super passionate about pro wrestling, and I noticed after I started making content on that, that's when my personality started shining. That's when I started growing as a content creator. That's when I learned new tips, new strategies, all that. So when I finally figured out what I was truly passionate about, then everything else just started coming in, and then more opportunities come in. People can see when you're being genuine.
Yeah, and it's like figure out what your lane is. And sometimes your lane may not be the most popular lane, but if you're passionate, you can build off of that. A lot of times, aspiring creators just want to replicate what someone else is doing because they have the big numbers, but like that doesn't mean you're gonna, one, achieve that, or two, just because you have numbers, that does not instantly equate to success or longevity, which I think longevity is the most important thing.
Absolutely.
Man, what a great conversation. It was so inspiring. Thank you two so much for your insight, as well as thank you to all the viewers who tuned in to Launching Point. Drop in the comment section, what is your launching point? Until next time, I'm Erin A Simon. This episode of Launching Point is brought to you by Doritos SOLID BLACK. Doritos SOLID BLACK is all about bolstering the voices of Black Changemakers. Shout out to Doritos.